Alright, so let's talk about systematic racism and how to end it. Alright, I want to try to keep this video as short as possible. If it gets longer, then it is what it is, right? Alright, so first of all, we got to understand what systematic racism is. Before we get into that, I want to applaud every single person that has been marching and protesting, creating awareness about racism and people talking about their experiences to do with racism, especially black women. Yeah, I'm going to say that, especially black women. The reason why I say that, the one thing I learned about life, right, is every movement, not just a movement, every revolution, yeah, begins with a black woman. Civilization started with a black woman. Well, it started with a black woman and a black man, but that's neither here or there. But what I'm trying to say is, you have to understand certain situations. Do you understand? So, for them to, even with this whole the young girl that recorded the whole George Floyd situation, it's a black woman. Do you understand? So you have to. Like I said, I'm gonna applaud black women getting the courage to talk about racism, all that stuff there, and big up Chicane for doing all what they're doing. You understand, highlighting situations and stuff like that. Even though they get some things a bit wrong, but I still respect them still. So big them up still. But yeah, let me get straight into it. All right, so boom, it goes like this. Yeah, you see systematic racism. It's a thing where it's systemized. Yeah, that's why it's called systematic racism. Racism is systemized. So what happens is, through the miseducation system, or let me just say miseducation system, let's say it as a whole. So through the education system, the mainstream media system, and also through, those are the main two, right? Those are the main two. And you have to understand and also obviously through government and all that stuff there, and through, the many other layers in life, there's certain levels of racism. But it's more like racial discrimination, where you get to a certain situation where, they only pick a certain few people, certain few black people to get a job. In fact, what's interesting? I remember, I talk about my personal situation, but I'm going to talk about something I watched was it Good Times? And basically, the wife wanted the guy wanted a job, yeah, the husband wanted a job, he was looking for a job, he was, doing his thing, and if I remember correctly, I believe they decided to hire his wife instead of him because they have a quota to fill. Do you see what I mean? So, not to say that's a bad thing, but at the same time, it's a thing of, so you're going to fill the quota by saying, alright, we need a woman, but we need a black person. Boom. Check. You see what I mean? It's just mad. So, with my situation now, like, if you've been following this channel for a long time, or forever long, don't know how long, but either way, if you've been following, you would have heard the story before, so I might say it again anyway. But basically what happened was, I was applying for jobs, and then this particular company I was applying for, not going to say their name, but yeah, I was applying for them and I just wasn't getting anything. So I was like, right, this is mad. Like, I really need a job. It's like man living by himself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I never asked to live by myself, but that's how it turned out. You know what I mean? Because man was in foster care, and once you leave care, you got to live on your ones and stuff like that, and you need income coming in. And listen, job seekers allowance. Listen, I can do another video on the whole foster care system. That's another story. And leaving care and all that stuff. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do a video on that. In fact, if you want me to do a video on that, let me know. Leave your answer in the comment section below. Should I do a video on that? Yes or no? I might do it anyway, because big up Misha B. She said, live your truth in it. Like, I'm not saying I haven't lived my truth before, and I haven't, but there's some things I just withhold. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. So yeah, so with my situation, I was applying, couldn't get nothing. I was applying for the same position, and I thought, alright, cool. Let me see if I change my name to Raphael Smith, and let me see, because I have this quota thing, yeah, where basically, how to explain it? It's like, not quota, but I see it as quota, but it's like the equality thing. So check if you're English or you're British, boom, you're white, your background is white, so that's what I did, white. Put I think I don't know what else I put. So this is just me testing this shit out. Yeah, no, I know some people are gonna be like, oh, that's self-hate, blah blah blah. No self-hate, get me? It's just, I'm just curious, isn't it? Man's curious. Let me see what's gonna happen. Let me see what I want. So it turns out, I believe it was the next day or the day after, or 2 days after. It didn't really take that long anyway for them to get back to me to propose an interview. I didn't turn up to the interview. Didn't even respond to them. I wish I actually did and turned up and said, see, look, man applied for, well, I won't speak like that, like, but I'll be like, look, I applied for your jobs, you know, as a, you know, black person, blah blah blah, and I felt like discrimination there coming on, and but yeah, after, you know what, after hearing a story the other day, I'm not gonna, you know, bait them out, but yeah, and it was a similar particular role and a similar situation, similar company. I realized, you see, when the Most High, when God, your ancestors, whoever's got you, like when they got you. Like, bigger things are to come. Like, seriously, because if I went through that situation, listen, because that's another thing. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to make that situation. I don't, like, that's for that person's story to tell, and you know what I mean. That's for their story to tell. I'm not gonna tell their story, but there was a level of racism to it. Do you see what I mean? And yeah, I wouldn't be having it. I wouldn't be having it. So yeah, what was I saying now? So yeah, basically, so that's just on the job front. That's on the job front, and then you see with the education system now, or let's just say let's start with the mainstream media. So obviously, when kids are born and all that stuff, there, what happens is kids end up watching TV and they end up watching certain programs, and their mind is already being programmed to believe certain things. And you see when, yeah, some things are education and all that stuff there, but there's certain things that seep into their subconscious. Excuse me. So then they're not really going to pick it up until, they're not really going to channel it till later. Whether they're black, white, or Asian, they're not going to channel it till later. So what happens is, even at 5 years old, there's some kids that have the feeling that they have the superiority complex, particularly some white kids, and with black kids, some of them have this inferiority complex, and they feel like they're ugly. Why do you think that is? Like, why? Like, think about it. Why do you think that is? I can't really talk for Asian kids, but I can talk for black kids and white kids, because, you know what I mean? And if I look at my situation, I'm like, well, it's not really that hard to explain, but I genuinely believe from the get-go, my parents, they had me like that, you know what I mean? They let me know certain things from early, like, so they already programmed my mind and my belief system from early. Like, they gave me a proper foundation. That's why I'm like teaching me my history and stuff like that. Like, that's why I got so much pride. This is why this organization exists. It's like, when you got that pride in, you know, the continent, the motherland, and all that stuff there, it's like, you want to do something and you realize that there's problems, you want to solve those problems. That's just me personally. Now this has gone over 10 minutes, but that's cool because you know this is a problem that needs to be solved and needs to be addressed, right? But anyway, so as you get older, you start to see certain things in certain programs. Like there's always, in some cases, you've got the light-skinned black girl and a dark-skinned black girl, and they're always having a go at each other. But even, or even just that, even if you look at prior to certain programs at certain ages, you do see certain characters like black characters, even if they're not, you know, like dark brown or black, whatever. You can see that the images are derived from black people, if that makes any sense. And even up until the other day, I didn't know. I only just realized the other day. Yeah, this is about the beautiful thing about having an open mind to learning, right? I found out the other day that not Tarzan, fucking the Tasmanian Devil was actually based on a black man. Like, it's fucking mad. I don't even know what to say, it's mad, and this is what I mean, Tasmanian Devil, and even up until, yeah, that was a cartoon and stuff like that, but, so can you imagine, man, then also, you know, certain programs, they depict certain characters as evil and all that stuff there, and it's usually, like I said, a caricature of a black person, basically, like a dark skinned black person, and then the light skin, they're usually, or white, they're usually angelic and good and all that stuff there. And then when it comes to the other characters, they're usually angry and all that stuff there. And then if you look at when it comes to the other type of media format, when it comes to newspapers and all that stuff there, you know, the so-called journalists, what do? They depict black people in a negative way. Like, I always remember, and they still do it to this day, right? They depict black footballers in a certain way. Like, it don't make sense to me. Like, a white footballer could do something, do the same fucking thing, but the black footballer ends up getting a negative type of thing, headline. And then also there was another thing when it comes to black women as well. The way they depicted, now I didn't know this until Keisha kind of mentioned this in a video, so go watch that. Yeah, they depicted her as the angry black woman and, you know, all that stuff there, and it's just mad to me. And even with the way they depicted Misha B, like, go watch her thing, like her story as well, on her IG, on her Instagram. Like, it is a lot to take in, but, you know, I'm glad that they had the courage to speak up. And even, it's just mad. Like, so this is what I mean. They depict people in a certain way. Now, watch this year. I was watching a documentary to do with the Black Wall Street. I watched 2 documentaries, and both of them mention about this particular news article. Now, before I get into that, in fact, yeah, basically Dick Rowland. Did I even mention this earlier? I can't remember if I did. But anyway, Dick Rowland, he basically was accused of assaulting a white woman. So the white woman accused him, and it's just mad, yeah, because that spiraled into what happened like 99 years ago, according to the date of this video. In 2021, it'll be 100 years. But yeah, like, so when you look at it, I'm like, alright, boom. The white-owned newspaper in Tulsa had a headline talk about lynching, and they mentioned something along the lines of, about the whole situation. You see what I mean? Like, they basically created a whole narrative that was false, and this is what they continue to do to this day. They create a narrative that is false, a false narrative. So the people reading that newspaper, if they're not taught to be a critical thinker, they immediately are going to think and they're immediately going to believe what they are reading. You understand? So if the headline was, I'm paraphrasing, but I believe there was a headline that they somehow deleted, or tried or got rid of, and yeah, so basically, so you hear them kids screaming, right? That's just a sign that, get me, there's pure torture and trauma that this situation is. You understand? And now they're stopped. But anyway, where was that? So basically, the headline was like, "Are you too?" Something to do with lynching niggas or something like that. And then what's mad is like when you deep it, it's like it's unnecessary. Like it's just fucking unnecessary when you deep it, and the situation still goes on to this day. Those who you call Karens, they end up making those false claims, all that stuff there, and then the headlines in the newspapers or in the media or whatever, mainstream media, they end up creating this false narrative of this is what happened when it didn't happen, and you see what I mean? And then a situation transpires. It's mad. It's fucking mad. And this is what I mean about systematic racism. Do you see what I mean? Like there's different levels to it. Like even if we go back into, like, you definitely watch the documentary, but like with Black Wall Street, but even with the way they were trying to get insurance to help rebuild Black Wall Street, because they literally burned the town to the ground, right? So what happened is, you know, if I remember correctly, they're saying that, you know, there was basically mishandling situations. They didn't care. This is why I say we need to get out of Western society for good. And I'm talking like the mentality. You don't necessarily move to different countries or move to Africa or anything, but it's the mentality. And because this is why I'm saying this is how to end racism, because you've got that, but then also you've got the education system. If you don't control the education system, and you don't teach that needs to be taught, you're gonna have these problems. Do you get it? You're gonna have these problems. Like that is just my take on it. Yeah, but I will say this: if you click on the link in the description box below, it says become a member of the Thealkebulantrust, you will get access to online courses such as African and Caribbean history. Because in that course there, you will learn exactly how to find out what your true roots are, find out, you know, your true roots, your true tribe and all that stuff there, and you go about what you need to do. And also the course to do with career and business. You'll learn exactly what your true personalized mission on earth is, aka your purpose, because when you're on that purpose, on that mission, naturally what's going to happen is you're going to naturally use your skills, your talents, your expertise to, you know, help end racism. Do you understand? Like, there's levels to it. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. Also, if you've got any questions, any topics you'd like for us to discuss in our videos, leave that in the comment section below. And remember, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, because you never know, the video you suggest might just be next.